Assalamu alaikum. Have you ever been called into the school to speak to the teacher, the head teacher, um, even worse, about your child's behavior? And because of the way that they've behaved, what they've done, what they haven't done, how they focus, how they don't focus, how they mess around, how they are not concentrating, whatever it is that they speak to you about, you know, what happens in that moment is we can feel a real dread, a real judgment on our parenting. Like it's what our child is doing is a reflection of how good or bad we are as a mom. And therefore, when you do deal with it with your child, often we're frustrated, we're a little bit harsher, we're telling them off, we're almost doing what we think that the teacher wants us to do, that they want to see us acting a bit harshly towards our child, reinforcing what they're saying, but firmly. And what happens when when we go down that road is we end up being quite harsh on our kids more than we need to because of the pressure we're feeling. And that brings out a negative side to that conversation. Like you're trying to, you know, help resolve the issue, and your child is saying to you, "You don't understand me. That's not fair. You just believe them." And you know what that's like. You've been in that situation where you're trying to take the side of the parent, the teacher, and be the responsible adult, deal with your child, and at the same time, your child is really upset with you because you have been unfair to them. And how do you strike that balance? How do you find the middle ground? Um, because you want to, you want to be there for your child, but you also want to understand, and the teacher's almost calling you in to support them. So it's quite difficult what to do. And I had this with one of the clients I was coaching last week, and she brought a situation to the coaching session where she said, I've had this pressure for years, Amina, like for years. I get called in almost like routinely once a week to talk to to the teacher about how my daughter's behaved in class, and I dread it. I can almost time when it happens. I dread it. I go to school every time feeling that dread that I'm being judged and my daughter's not behaving. And then I, do what I need to do. I tell my daughter off there and then in front of her so she can see I'm supporting her. And then my daughter has a meltdown and she gets really upset with me. She's withdrawn, she's disconnected. And I reinforce with her, look, you've just got to do this, you've just got to behave. And I'm trying to resolve it that way, but the behavior keeps happening over and over again. And I'm being told off, or I'm being asked for support again. And what do you do? What do you do in that situation? And when I coached her, and what I do when I coach my clients is I look deeper at where the problem's coming from. And there's 3 steps really that we take when we're when we're coaching through issues, parenting issues. We look at what we're bringing to it as a parent, number one. Number two, understanding the root cause, what's really going on with the child. And then number three, actually giving your child a solution to deal with that problem. They've got a situation, they need to deal with it. And so taking her through that process that I take all my clients on, um, she was able to identify where that pressure was coming from within. What is it? What was connected to that pressure? Why she was feeling that pressure, and how to change it. The minute she did that, that pressure was gone. She just felt so much lighter. Like it's okay. It doesn't mean that. Now, when we did that and we did that work, she went on to then, say, okay, so what do I do about my daughter? And I said to her, look, it's not about you and how it looks to you and what people think about you. It's actually about your daughter. If your daughter is behaving in a certain way, that means she's feeling challenged in some way. If you actually, rather than judging her and being quick to judge her, you actually try and support her with whatever she's struggling with, then now it becomes about your daughter and not about you. She did that. She went into, she went into school. She said that very the same day I went into school and I was called by the head teacher. This time I dealt with it differently. This time, I got the head teacher aligned with me that we're here to support, my daughter, bring out the best in her, and let's work together. Then she was able to address, she said I was able to address with my daughter, look, what's going on? Are you okay? How can we help you? Like, how can we resolve this? And try and understand the deeper issue. I gave her the steps to follow. She followed those steps. When she did, she, she said, I saw a complete change in my daughter's behavior. And this was something she felt pressured, with for years. It'd been going on for a long time. And yet, when we take these 3 steps and we understand what we're bringing to the situation, like in a parenting relationship, in a dynamic, we're bringing something to it. We take off that negative pressure we're putting on. And what happens is you're able to actually help your child achieve what they need to achieve. Now, I'm going to be talking more about this in my upcoming masterclass, where I talk about actually even exam pressure. Sometimes we're putting pressure on our children to study. And because it comes across pressured, you know what that's like when someone's pressurizing you. You want to push back. It's a normal human reaction. You want to push back. And when you want to push back, when your child pushes back, it feels like they're not accepting what you're saying. But what it is it's actually they're not accepting the pressure you're putting on them. Maybe because that pressure is about you and how it reflects on you and what you're worried about. Even though you want the best for your child, but you're also a little bit concerned about what it means for you. And when you're able to take that pressure off, now you're able to help your child with why they're not studying. The actual issue becomes really about where is their block, where is their barrier, and how you can help them to overcome that. In taking these 3 steps, actually, you're able to overcome every parenting challenge you have, every parenting challenge, because what you have isn't just like a step by step kind of this is what you do, how you deal with this and this and this and this situation, whether it's exams, whether it's, behavior at school, whether it's, and in fact, another client told me that today. She said, I'd come to you and told you about my son. We found out for years he's been stealing, from us in the house. And, I followed that same step. I helped her to see where she was, what she was bringing to the table, in that situation. She took that off and then was able to help her child. And she said it was actually something I was dreading, but it actually brought us closer together because I helped him resolve something he was struggling with. And this is what you'll find, that when you apply these 3 steps, you know, number one, looking at what you're bringing to the dynamic. Number two, helping, getting clear on what is the root of the problem, not the behavior, not the symptoms, but the root of your child's behavior. And then number three, helping a child, knowing how to help your child through that, help them find a solution through that. Actually, instead of these issues like the chores or the exam work or the behavior or the bad behavior or the bad habits, the gaming, and those issues no longer become an issue. They actually, are something that you help your child solve because they're symptoms. And when you understand their symptoms, you can actually help your child solve them. So I'm going to be talking more about this and the blueprint I take my clients on to get to the point where they're solving all of the struggles and challenges their children are having, whether that's peer pressure, whether that's friendship issues, whether that's hijab issues, whether that is, friendship issues and wanting to go out and be out all the time or be okay, that is real life filming for you there, my cat running across the table. But whatever it is that you're finding your child is struggling with, what are the steps that you need to take? What is the blueprint that I go through with my clients so that they become really confident and empowered mothers to be able to resolve those issues? What are those steps? Now, that's what I'm going to be sharing with you on a 3-day masterclass that's coming up on the 23rd, 24th, and 25th of June. Details are in the link below. You can then check the timings and what we're covering, but you're going to love it because it means you become that empowered, confident mother who, whatever your child is struggling with, you can still help them to succeed. You become the go-to that they come to help resolve their issues. And in fact, there was another client that said to me, now my children come, like I used to walk into a room and they'd all walk out, because we were clashing all the time, to now when I walk, now I struggle to get the cooking done because they're always coming and talking to me about this issue and that issue. And she said, while I love having that relationship with them where, they can come to me and they can talk to me and I'm their friend and actually I know how to help them. What's amazing is, that we've got that relationship, but actually we still need to cook. We still need to eat. So I need to find a balance in my children, looking for me now, but she was loving it. And that's what happens when, you go through this blueprint, and I'll be sharing that blueprint with you. And that's the blueprint that gets my clients, from the place where their kids are running away from them, and withdrawn and disconnected, to being, having this most amazing relationship with their children. And not only that your children become amazing. And that's the thing, they, in all of these scenarios, they saw their child as naughty or lazy or, stealing. you know, not productive, wasting time. And, you know, how did they go from turning around that lazy, that, that naughty child to becoming a golden child? Because that's what they all ended up with. Not only did they become the golden mom, but they ended up with a golden child, and they are loving their parenting experience. So if you want to know more about that, then you want to sign up to the masterclass and make sure that you're there to take the gems and understand the steps that are needed to get you there. But there is no child that can't go from a lazy child or, a difficult child to becoming a golden child. You just need to follow this process, this blueprint that I share with my clients, and I take them on that process, and that they end up having the most amazing experience as parents and seeing their children succeed. And that's the best part, because we all want to see our children succeed, right? So if you're able to help your child, become more productive and focus and study on, for their exams, or help with the chores, they're going to have a better life because of it. But you'll also have a great family life, because you're not worried about them anymore, and you're not stressed out about what they're not doing. And it means that you have a great, life now as a family, and they have a great life as adults, inshallah, with a bright future and successful future. So this is definitely not one to miss. And so if you're a successful parent, professional parent that is wanting your children to be successful too, and you want to know how to get there, then I'll see you in the masterclass, inshallah. Until next time. Assalamu alaikum.